My ex-wife betrayed me and destroyed our marriage. After several years, she pleaded with me to stay. When I eventually started seeing someone new, she had an outburst and faced instant consequences. She refused to move on. This is my story as a 48-year-old man divorced. To summarize, after 14 years of marriage, she had an affair with a married colleague. She admitted to it a month later, and I had to leave. I knew she was sorry and asked me to stay, but I couldn't. She didn't contest the divorce or the terms I set. Credit to her. She has remained a good mother, and our relationship is relatively cordial. Of course, both of us struggled emotionally and grieved the end of our marriage for a while. We adapted to our new lives as single parents, each concentrating on raising our children. Before the holidays, I began casually seeing someone. It wasn't serious, more like a friendship. She has a daughter, and recently, we've discussed introducing our children to each other. They have no idea about us yet, so out of respect, I texted my ex-wife to let her know. She immediately called, clearly upset. I calmly explained that both of us were bound to date eventually. She started crying and then yelled that she hadn't dated anyone, not even gone on a single date. I wasn't sure I believed her, but she sounded firm and angry. She asked that I not let my new partner stay the night when the kids were around, and she wasn't ready to meet her. An hour later, she texted me an apology and I thanked her. Then, another hour later, she texted again, saying she deserved this. I'm doing my best to handle the situation, while staying committed to my role as a father. My new girlfriend is supportive and doesn't tolerate drama, and neither do I. I'm proud of how I've rebuilt my life, but I would appreciate advice on maintaining peace. During the first 13 years of our marriage, my ex-wife accomplished a lot. She raised 2 wonderful children, earned a degree, and built a successful career. We had a beautiful home and what seemed like a loving marriage. But the last 3 years tore everything apart. Her affair led to our divorce. She moved into a small apartment, lost her job, and is now alone. While co-parenting, she occasionally became too involved in my life. A friend helped me put things into perspective, reminding me to establish boundaries. I'm finally at peace despite the challenges. I made a couple of unintended mistakes on Mother's Day. On Saturday, I took the kids to the beach, enjoying the lovely weather after weeks of quarantine. I didn't realize it was her plan for Mother's Day. She hadn't shared her plans, and I hadn't thought about it. Also, I had been quietly preparing a gift basket for someone I had been seeing. My kids found it in my closet and assumed it was for their mom. When they told her, she called me. She expressed disappointment about the beach outing, and I apologized. At first, she seemed okay, but then she thanked me for the gift, expecting it was hers. I had to tell her it wasn't, and things became tense. Although I felt bad for her, I couldn't help but think about how she had disregarded the consequences of her affair. Despite having plenty of reasons for an argument, I chose to stay calm. Reflecting on my divorce, I see how the affair fog clouded her judgment. After I found out about the affair, she was sorry but never fully broke contact with the other man. I filed for divorce within a month. She seemed infatuated and made irrational decisions during mediation. Her new partner, who appeared financially secure, left her a few months after our divorce. She recently texted me asking how to withdraw money from her 401k. I told her I didn't know and advised against touching it until retirement. This situation shows how important it is to make quick decisions during a divorce. Statistics reveal that only 3 to 5% of affairs lead to marriage, and 75% of second marriages fail. The odds of a successful relationship born from an affair are incredibly low. Many who rush into such marriages end up either unhappy or in denial about their choices. Affairs often result in trust issues and guilt, which don't become clear until after the marriage. Couples who marry after an affair often isolate themselves, cutting ties with people affected by their actions. This loneliness becomes more noticeable as the excitement fades. The lack of shared history and trust further weakens the foundation of these relationships. One vivid memory from my divorce is the look my ex-wife gave me during our final mediation. Her eyes were hollow and cold, her mouth tight as if trying to stop herself from smiling. It felt as though she took pleasure in my pain. Now, whenever I feel the urge to help her, I think back to that moment. It serves as a reminder to focus on my own well-being and that of our children. I've moved on, and life is better, although I remain connected for the sake of our kids. I know I'm in a good place in my life, doing the right things. Sometimes, I wonder how different things might have been if she hadn't given me that remorseful look or if her eyes weren't filled with doubt. In a way, I feel she gave me a lifetime gift through that moment of clarity. Am I crazy? Does anyone else have a moment like this they reflect on for reassurance and guidance? Looking back, it's clear that good people ultimately prevail. The infidelity and affair are now just a distant memory. The memories, though painful, represent the lowest point of my life. I remember feeling sick for days, overwhelmed by confusion, stress, and sleepless nights. The thought of the future felt impossible as I struggled to get through each day. The emotional burden was immense. But then, you find yourself part of an unwelcome club, a painful, shared experience no one asked for. Now, nearly 3 years after that mess, I can say life is far from what I imagined, yet somehow it's firmly grounded. My employer supported me during the tough times, and for that, I'm eternally thankful. Today, I'm more committed to my career, and my performance exceeds expectations. Against all odds, I met an incredible woman. The kind of connection I never thought I'd have again after the damage caused by the affair. Miraculously, I've achieved so much more than I ever thought possible. My values have shifted, and this experience has deeply altered how I see myself and others. Through it all, I've come to understand the true meaning of friendship, forming deep bonds with a select few. My relationship with my children has also grown immensely over the past few years. They needed me just as much as I needed them, and seeing them thrive has been the greatest reward. That's what kept me going. Despite everything, I feel blessed and grateful, though I can't explain why. I'm not special, wealthy, or particularly important. I've simply tried to be a good person. If there's one piece of advice I can offer, it's this: stay true to yourself. Believe that good people will always win in the end. This journey comes at a painful price, but brighter days are ahead. If you ever need someone to lean on, reach out. You're not alone in this. Reflecting on why people cheat, I've come to realize it often comes down to how we assign value to the things in our lives, whether it's material possessions, friendships, relationships, careers, or even ourselves. These values are shaped by a complex mix of life experiences, environments, and personal circumstances. Over time, what we value can change. Sometimes, we enhance what we have, and other times, through neglect, we diminish its worth. Value can be real and deeply connected, or it can be superficial and perceived. It's always relative, influenced by our present options and future potential. In the case of infidelity, the painful truth is that the affair was valued more than the marriage. This misplaced value might have come from the illusion of excitement or the fantasy of something new. Perhaps they failed to see the true value of the relationship they already had. When I think about my own situation, I believe my ex took our relationship for granted. She overvalued the appeal of her affair partner, caught up in the rush it brought her, and undervalued the depth of what we shared. Hearing the full extent of what happened has been eye-opening. Through mutual friends, I learned about the financial fallout of her choices, including bad investments in her affair partner's failing business. It's unsettling to realize how misguided her decisions were, even to the point of considering abandoning our children. While her financial struggles are of no concern to me now, this insight strengthens my clarity about my path forward. Reconciliation was never an option for me. It wasn't that I didn't consider it. Of course I did. Factors like our kids and the financial implications weighed heavily on my mind. But ultimately, I couldn't accept the new reality of what a post-affair relationship would look like. I realized I had lost the purity of our marriage, the sense that she was uniquely mine. Even if we could restore love and intimacy, I knew my perception of her would be forever changed. I wanted a relationship where I could give all of myself to someone, and I knew that wasn't possible by staying. The difference between affair intimacy and marital intimacy is profound. Affair intimacy thrives on novelty and excitement, releasing dopamine that gives a temporary high. In contrast, marital intimacy is rooted in connection and security, releasing oxytocin, the hormone of comfort and trust. While dopamine provides an initial thrill, oxytocin sustains relationships over time, creating a deep bond that strengthens with shared experiences. Understanding this distinction helped me process the events and reinforce my belief in the value of a genuine, lasting connection. For anyone navigating this journey, remember, you have the strength to rebuild, to find meaning, and to thrive beyond the pain. Life offers second chances, and with time, brighter days truly are ahead.